Blackstone Labs obviously still exists as a company.
20 years of doing that, it's no good.
He said something like steroids are a devil.
You're a fucking idiot if you believe me.
Liver King has been a good guy.
It ate my hamstring and bit my one hand off.
Greg, did you know Bostin Loyd?
Yes. Yes, I did. I knew him very well.
He passed away recently. I think it was a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe, right?
Yes, it's a shame because he was a good kid.
Now, Bostin Loyd was an advocate for steroids. Like, you know, he made a lot of great content, of course, and he was very open about it. He was I would say advocate for steroids, right?
Yes.
What do you think his passing? How did you take the passing of him, and what do you think it means for the fitness industry?
I feel that if anything that people would learn from his passing, we kind of knew this was going to happen. He kind of knew. I mean, he
Really?
documented all the time. He's got no more kidneys. His kidneys were gone. Still fucking around with stuff. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? You know, if you keep swimming in a pool where there's sharks and it bit you a million times already, I'm missing my hamstring, it ate my hamstring, it bit my one hand off, but I'm still going to swim in that pool. Eventually, you know, it's good, the one bite that's going to come. So we kind of knew. But here's what I think, that the significance of what happened to him should be to all these young kids who are on social media today. He was young.
Very young, right? In 20s.
Yeah, he was in his, listen, he started getting issues in his early 20s. What I'm saying is, if you fucking kids watching this don't understand that what you're doing to your body, I don't believe any teenage boy needs to take anabolics. You've had hair on your dick a couple years. When I was 19 years old, 18 years old, my parents went out to the friggin', you know, shopping. I'd pull out the Playboy and, shake hands with the general. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, because my test was screaming naturally. Your testosterone at an 18-year-old boy, you're getting a boner looking at the Sears catalog with girls with just bras and panties on. You know what I mean? So you don't need testosterone. But these kids today, 16 years old, I'm on tren, I'm on this, and they're showing these little transformations. Some skinny kid like this, playing video games now. He's walking around, and that's not good. That is not good, and it's going to catch you. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but it's coming.
Bostin Loyd, I mean, he put in years of experience, right? He was competing at one point, yes. And I interviewed him one time back in 2000 and maybe 17 or whatever it was, 18, maybe before, and he was a smart kid, a smart guy. You know what I mean? He was not a kid, a smart guy. Obviously, it's very unfortunate what happened to him. I was very saddened by it personally, even though I wasn't close with him at all. But when I heard that, I was very saddened by that.
I was sad too, to be honest with you, because
it's a sad situation.
Kid, and it's just, it's funny because even he was sick of competitive bodybuilding. He didn't want to be part of that at all anymore. It was once a big thing for him. Now, at the end, he was pretty much like, "Don't do what I did." You know what I mean? Because he knew. Oh my God, because once that happens to you, there's no coming back. Some people get a new pair of kidneys, but that might only last you 10, 20 years. You know what I mean?
So you knew that he might pass away? Because I had no idea. It was a surprise to me. You knew that this could have happened? We
talk about his kidney problems. He was very open about it. You know what I mean? I remember sending him a bottle of Game Face, and he was telling me, "Oh man, I can't wait to try this stuff, but I just got to go through a few more tests and everything, because my kidneys."
Jeez.
And that was just Game Face. That's a supplement. You know what I'm saying? Nootropic, but lion's mane, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I gotta, like I got to do some more tests before, but I can't wait to try this," because he knew, even a supplement, he knew that his kidneys were gone, and he knew that he was in trouble. I do believe, though, sometimes he was a little bit too smart for our own good, because then he started believing, I'm going to take this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I might be able to get some kidney function back. It's not going to happen.
So do you think the steroids contributed to his death?
Oh, absolutely. You can't tell me that kid, if he never took up bodybuilding, if he would have took up, I don't know, motocross or something, he might still be alive today. It's of course, even his family knows. His mother was saying, stuff. It just, you can't take all these chemicals. You're putting a strain on the body. You know what I mean? I'm not against steroids, bro. Man, I'm pro. I love steroids, but I do believe they have their place. You know what I'm saying? And he was taking every chemical under the sun. He experimented. If they said there's this
Right.
new rat poison, but if you take it, it'll give you muscles, he would say, okay, how can I take that rat poison without killing myself? You know what I'm saying? Like he would, you know, that mentality, I think, is a little bit over the hill. And I think today you see these young kids on social media. I can't tell how many transitions I've seen. Some skinny kid with the fucking phone up in the mirror like this, you know, yeah, I'm playing Fortnite now, but I'm going to get into bodybuilding. And then fucking couple months later, you know, he's like jacked and, you know, this is after trend, after this, after that.
It's sad, man. But I want to ask you about Cali Muscle. I'm actually a fan of Cali Muscle. You know, he was somebody that was, you know, on a path of, you know what I mean. He had huge muscles. He was, I would say, not a promoting steroids, but he was definitely a user, right? And he admitted it. Then he had a health scare, almost died from a heart attack, and now he completely changed his ways, and he's anti-steroid now. And for some reason, he gets a lot of hate from the fitness industry. Even like, you know, we had a podcast with Victor, and even Victor was like going at him for saying that, like, he said something like steroids are a devil or something like that. And obviously an extreme point of view, right? But here's a guy who was a steroid user, and now he changed his life, and now he's on a path of promoting being natural. So what do you think about that, and why are people, like, you know, criticizing him?
I think there's a few reasons why people criticize him. First of all, he was, you know, I like Cali Muscle. I don't know him. I've never met him.
Me neither, but I like what he's doing online.
I think he's funny. I do. And I understand that now he's anti-steroid and all that shit. He could still be, I think he's a little bit too far the other way, and he's bullshitting too much. I don't believe that he sits for 20 days and eats nothing but watermelon or fucking shit like that. I don't believe that. Okay. But it's not for me to say I don't know the guy personally. But I think it's that kind of stuff that makes people, you know, because not for nothing, Vlad, he used to say when he was so juiced up to the max, he used to say that he wasn't on steroids then. I remember one time he's like, look, okay, I'm going to finally come clean. This is when he was super juiced, right? Super jacked.
He was huge. He was huge.
He was monster. And, you know, on the upper body, his legs need a little work. But he was huge, right? And I remember he made me laugh, though. I remember I was watching this one video. I don't watch much videos with, you know, bodybuilding, but somebody sent me this, and I laughed my ass off. He said, okay, I know all you guys are always talking about me taking steroids, you know, because he said he didn't do that. You know, he was not, you know, he wasn't really open too much about that stuff, only till after. And he said, I'm gonna come clean right now, and I'm gonna show you all my cycle. He stops and he looks at the camera, and he turns and he rides away on a bicycle. You get it? I'm gonna show you my cycle.
Got it, yeah, the cycling. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, I laugh at stupid shit like that. To me, I laugh. You know, especially like all these kids used to believe he would make a cake and use like fucking Sprite and put it in with like cocoa pebbles or sugar, you know, fruity pebbles, and bake it into like a cake. And then he didn't make believe he was having an orgasm, you know, or promoted ramen all the time. Now he says that ramen helped.
Well, yeah, he's also anti-steroid, and he's also anti like processed food. I mean, I don't understand why hate on that. Like he's saying the right things.
Don't hate on the guy at all. I think he's funny. I actually feel bad for him because I think now he's desperate. Instead of saying steroids will ruin your life and everything, he could say, you know, use them responsibly. They're more, you young guys should not be on them. Us older guys, it's you know, it's a health thing. Especially if you're doing TRT, there is a place for it. I think if he was a little bit more, you know, smarter about the way he handles stuff. Don't sit there and bullshit people. I'm going to go on an all water diet. I'm not going to eat for 10 days. You're not doing that. And you know that. You know, don't like just push like you know, watermelon diet. All these other. He's too extreme now, and it's almost like he's making people think like, listen, you're stupid. I'm going to make sure, you know, like it's almost like you're doing that, sticking it in people's faces. Instead of saying, look, I had problems with steroids. I should have, you know, and I was eating this ramen stuff all the time, and I thought I was invincible. Right. But you know what? I realized I was stupid. I should have used them more responsibly. You know, they have their place. Don't go crazy like I did. Don't start them if you're under 25, you know, like that. I think if you would have been a little bit more responsible about it, I think you'd still have a lot more fans. But you're throwing it in people's face like you're a hypocrite. You know what I mean? You can't do steroids for 20 something years and then say, oh, they're terrible. They're bad. I get it. Okay. But there is a place for it. It's different from a heroin addict. There's no place for heroin. You can't say, well, you know, do heroin responsibly. You know, you can't do that. But responsible use of steroids like testosterone, especially under doctor's care, TRT, can help promote a longer life in some men that have low T. So instead of doing a little bit more responsibly and talking about how, I'm cutting out processed foods, but to think you're only eating watermelon, you understand? Like that's, come on. So I understand Victor's frustration with that. I agree with Victor. I don't hate on the guy. I still think he's funny, but I see him reaching, and it's almost like now he's not as funny anymore because now you're calling people stupid. Look, you don't want to eat processed food. You think it's bad? Teach the people, but don't just come out and say, "Well, I'm doing a watermelon only guy," because that's not legit. You know what I mean? There's other foods you can eat and other than watermelon and things like that. So I'm just saying, I think he's boo-hawing people. And instead of talking about doing things responsibly, now everything you did was just, false and a lie. And, he was caught in a lot of scams too, with the cars and all that,
I don't know about that. I mean, I personally like the guy. I hope he continues. I hope he continues his.
I understand when you said that Victor was like going ahead to, going at him a little bit.
Yeah, he went at him.
I understand Victor's frustration. I agree with Victor in the sense that if you do things, that doesn't mean I don't like him. Okay, it just means I think he's going about it wrong. He could sit there and say, "Look, I'm eating better now. I'm not eating processed foods. I'm eating, or
I understand.
organic eggs, and I'm eating chicken and this and that. I'm having fish, whatever. But I'm also not doing anabolics anymore because what it did to me. And I started after 20 years of doing that. It's no good. He could be doing that, but instead he's like, now they're the demon. But they made him all that money. You're not giving back that money that you made. You know what I'm saying? Off of pushing that stuff.
I hear you, Greg. I want a couple of more things I want to go over with you. So, the Blackstone Labs ordeal that happened. Blackstone Labs obviously still exists as a company, but the co-founders, PJ Braun and Aaron Singerman, who are very respected people in the fitness industry, ended up going to prison. What is your take on the whole situation? Do you think they deserve to go to prison? Do you think they were profiled? Do you think this whole situation should have been just kind of like, they should have just got like a probation or just forgiven, you know what I mean? What do you think about it? And what do you think that means for the fitness industry? Like a giant company like this that these two guys started, right, and ended up going to prison for. What is your take on this?
I don't think they should have gone to prison. I think they could have been fined because, I don't know the whole story, okay, as far as what they did. I think they had some sort of ingredient or something that was in a supplement or something like that. You could be fined for that. That's been going on, by the way. That's been going on in the fitness industry.
Right.
It's just as bad. You might as well put other guys in jail. I remember there was a time where, I don't want to name the companies here because then there's going to be trouble. But there's a super famous company back in the 80s that was, still around now. It's still a super company. I'll tell you offline if you want. And they were promoting this liquid protein. It came in almost like a fucking shampoo bottle. And you would drink that and you were like, wow, this is like watermelon strawberry. This is delicious. The reason why is because there was no amino acids in it. They got it tested and they got in trouble for that. Okay. I think that that's fraud too. I don't believe that. I'm a little prejudiced. I like PJ Braun. I know him since he was young. I like Aaron Singerman. I know him forever too. I just think that, I think that, you sue the company. You want to hurt them, sue their pocket. They'll change their ways. It's the way to get everybody. That's what Trump does. He doesn't say, you know what, I'm going to go over there and bomb, like, whatever, Iran or whatever. I'll just run, or Putin. I'm going to just run sanctions on him and I'll hit him in the pocket. And he's going to be like, okay, let's talk. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened. But you don't have to stick the guys in jail. There's other guys way worse than those guys that are committing crimes, that are hurting people and stuff, and they're not getting no jail time. But some guy that's, okay, maybe they did a little funky shit with some supplement. I don't know. But I don't believe that they should go to jail. I think they're both good guys. I just hope that they get their companies back and then they live a good life after that. I'm sorry.
I hear you. No, of course. All right, I want to get your opinion on Sam Sulek. Are you familiar with Sam Sulek?
Yes.
He became practically in a year one of the most prominent names in the fitness industry. He's not a bodybuilder per se. He's not competing, but he's definitely a fitness personality and a bodybuilder. Just not a competitive yet. What do you think about him and his rise in the fitness industry?
I think his rise is like the Hawk 2 girl. The Hawk 2 girl was just nobody. She was basically just an average. She's not even really that sharp. You know what I'm saying? She got in an interview somewhere where she said, got a Hawk 2 and I'll spit on that thing. And now she's everywhere and everybody like, fucking, you, because they got sour grapes. She hit lottery. I think Sam Sulek hit lottery. If he would have had maybe a shaved head and still walked around with that baseball cap, he might have, but he created a character. Do you understand?
Mhm.
And I think that I'm all for him running to the bank with it. If I could give Sam Sulek some advice, my advice would take all that money you're making, invest it in real estate and all this other shit. Don't go driving around in, BMWs and all, and think that that's like, save the money. Drive an economical car, put your friggin' money in. Like, who's the perfect example of that? The girl, Danielle Bergoli. Remember that girl, Cash Me Outside? She's capitalized on her thing. She owns so much land right now. She's worth millions and millions from just investing in properties. Somebody smart got hold of her. Well, same thing with the Hawk 2 girl. Same thing with Sam Sulek. These people were just like two minnows that were plucked out of the ocean. What makes Sam so great is his physique. He's built, he's jacked, but I don't know if his lines, if he could win a show, you know what I mean?
Do you think he should? Do you think he should compete, or do you think he doesn't even necessarily need it?
No, I don't. I say don't compete. Don't do it.
Really?
Why? Because if you lose, you know what's going to happen? That whole mystique just caves in. Be the guy you were. It's like Rich Piana. Rich Piana didn't say when he competed, he was okay. He wasn't that great. But
Right.
the minute he became the character, what's going on, and he had the hair and the funky hair and those shorts that he was worth, the giant shoes and all, he became a character. He didn't say, you know what, I'm going to start competing. He knew, let me go in this direction, take that character I made and create something on it. And he did. Well, I feel the same way with Sam Sulek. I feel that Sam, if he's smart, don't compete. You don't need to. What for? To win a trophy that costs you $50, the promoter paid $50 for that trophy, you're going to go home and go, look, I won the Buckeye Barbell Classic. Who gives you shit? You know what I'm saying? You're better off, take it, keep working it, keep being that character like Rich Piana, take his scuttle, invest it, get your family involved, give them a little bit, you all invest in properties and maybe little businesses. So if this ever goes south, you got something still. You don't say, well, now I got to sell my BMW, which is worth half what you paid for it. Okay. Invest your money and be smart. Look, I'm the fucking classic geek. I'm a fucking broke ass I'm a Momo, bro. I fucking spent all the scuttle. I walked around like king. And you know what I got? I got a bunch of statues. You've been in my house. I got statues. What I'm saying is be smart. I'm an older guy. I'm telling you, you don't want to be where I am. You don't want to be 63. I'm 64. You don't want to be 64 years old worrying about, okay, I got to go to work today, because by the time you're 64, you'll be smoking a cigar, blowing rings on the beach with your kids and all that stuff. Invest your money, stay being Sam Sulek, the character. Don't cut your hair, keep the baseball cap on, do your little videos, and that's it. They love you. Take it to the bank. The Hawk 2 girl, you ever see interviews of her? She's so innocent. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking to Bill Maher. And she goes, yeah, I didn't even really know who you were till because she's got management and they got her the gig. And she's an innocent girl, but she got lucky. She said something that I don't understand why, like these people like, oh my God, she said spit on the dick. Oh my God, that's so great. But these people, once you get that fame and you get something for nothing like that, ride it into the sunset.
Right.
Don't compete, Sam.
And the last thing I want to ask you is Liver King. Liver King, he's been a good guy or bad guy, also exposing for steroids people online, right? What are you just take on the Liver King?
Oh my God, the Liver King. You know what's funny about that guy? I mean, it kind of goes a little bit with the Cali muscle thing. When you're sitting there and you're jacked and you got veins in your shit, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, and you're telling people, no, all I do is I eat liver and take this supplement. You're telling people you're a fucking idiot if you believe me. He should have come out clean from the very beginning, okay, and said, I'm taking, steroids because it's part of, what I do. It's, we want testosterone because I'm an alpha male and that's what testosterone does. And all. He would have been better off with that. I feel like he's a little bit of a fraudster. You know what I mean? Eating liver and all that shit. Who knows what he does when the cameras are off? He might be like spitting that shit out and cook a nice tomahawk steak or something. Who the hell wants to sit and eat like friggin' regular liver, blood dripping down your face? This is good. But he had people believing like buy my supplements. It's all a gimmick to buy his supplements. Then you find out different stories about, him with the steroids, and, he was like a juggernaut with steroids, Meanwhile, he's trying to place this, like, make believe he's playing a character of this natural living, this, we cut the grass and we eat the dandelions because they're healthy. They promote oxalates and this, I'm just saying, I think he's a little bit more of a fraudster. I don't like that. I mean, but he's a businessman. He had so much money when he started this shit. It wasn't like he was nothing and then came out with something. He was already a bodybuilder. He was already into competing. He was already jacked. He was already on juice. And he was already a smart businessman. He just parlayed, creating a character, but you're frauding people into believing that if they take your fucking raw orchic balls, cow balls and into a powder, that they're going to get jacked and built like you. Because after all, that's how our ancestors lived. Well, the fucking thing you're forgetting to tell people about the ancestry and all that bullshit is people lived to the ripe old age of 40 back then. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather not do that. You know what I mean? I just think he's a fraud.
All right, Greg. Well, that's all we have for today, man.
I love it. Thank you so much.
God bless you, man. Stay safe, okay?
Thank you.
Hey, brother.